it appears that the brothers at war that are Prince William and Prince Harry seem further than ever than reconnecting. But what started it all off once again? Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here in the heart of London. Nice to see you today. Hope you're all keeping well. We've had a busy few days, haven't we, over the royal spectrum, as it were. That wonderful message from our gracious Majesty the Queen informing the rest of the world, the Commonwealth and of course the United Kingdom, of her extreme wishes, sadly when she's no longer with us. But this, of course, has now created something of another bombshell, as one can imagine. It's hard though, isn't it, when you look back in royal history, because we always look back at the bigger names, you know, the people that have really influenced royal life, right from Henry VIII, of course, who knew all about his wives and all of that sort of stuff, right through, if you like, to Edward and Lily Langtry. You know, there's always been some controversy wherever you look within royal circles. But this particular story has really taken something of a turn for the worst, and let me explain the reasons why. As we now know, His Royal Highness Prince William has fully endorsed the brand new title given to Duchess of Cornwall, Camilla, as Queen Consort in the fullness of time, as our gracious Majesty the Queen has said. And let me tell you the background to that, because a lot of people think, oh, you know, William has always been a fan of Camilla. Well, not according to very good sources. Both he and Harry had very difficult times at the beginning in order to make sure that they could retain some sort of sensible relationship with, of course, Prince Charles and Camilla. It can't have been easy for them, of course. When you look at, say, somebody like Prince William, as I've said before here on the show, he lived through some of the very worst of times with his mother, Princess Diana. Prince Harry not so. And actually, if you were looking for a book and wanted to know the true story, that would be it. Prince William's account of what he went through as the elder brother, alongside, of course, his very difficult and demanding at times mother, who went through some of the most atrocities, sometimes, and some might say, brought on by herself, by mixing and then trying to pull back from the media that she so loved and loathed in equal measure. But now it appears that Prince Harry has taken, as we say here in the north, umbrage, because he's not too happy with the fact that Prince William allegedly has endorsed Camilla as Queen Consort, and here's the reasons why. Prince Harry, as we know, is now busy making that book, or putting the finishing touches to the book, which apparently is going to be about the man that he's become, not the prince that he was born. And everybody naturally is very concerned, particularly within the British monarchy, over exactly what Prince Harry might say or do. He is a man, of course, who's still really hurting all those years on from the loss of his mother, aged just 12. And the bigger problem that I hear that Prince Harry has is that he's very concerned at the fact that his mother may be simply just wiped from history. Now, that's ridiculous when you think, because Diana is with us throughout. You know, I think every generation, though, obviously moves on. I mean, when I was talking to some younger people recently outside Buckingham Palace, they knew who Diana was, but they weren't quite sure of her place in history. That's nothing to do with her being forgotten. It's simply the way that history moves on, whatever decade you're in. But now, according to that good source with inside palace walls, William, who obviously gets on incredibly well with Camilla, and more importantly sees the value of what Camilla brings to the monarchy, and more importantly just how happy she makes his father, His Royal Highness Prince Charles, is more than happy to give his endorsement, as is our gracious Majesty the Queen. But apparently it's the fact that Prince Harry feels that growing up, they obviously didn't feel the same way initially, as one can imagine. Obviously there was a third intruder within their marriage, as was, you know, famously dictated about by the late and wonderful Princess Diana in that now very controversial interview with Martin Bashir. But according to that source, William himself, by saying, well, I do endorse this, has put fractions even further between himself and his younger brother Prince Harry. Now, this is obviously something that Prince William has thought about deeply, and really is not concerned about what Prince Harry is going to write in his book, simply because, as he knows, books fail to sell on that bigger level. Yes, they're headline news for a couple of days. Once, of course, they come out and people think, wow, that's a bit of a bombshell. But given the fact that Prince Harry has dropped so many bombshells over the last 18 months, what's one more? And that is apparently what Prince William is now thinking. What he's really looking forward to is the fact that he wishes and wants both of his father, His Royal Highness Prince Charles, and his stepmother, Camilla, to remain happy and, of course, enjoy wonderful, bright futures, particularly as they take up the steps further down the line as the reigning king and queen of the British monarchy. And for that, it appears that William is standing out, striking out, and letting the world know exactly how he feels, regardless of what Harry thinks or not. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.